Hi, I'm Jennifer Contact. In this presentation, we're going to look at the definition and purpose of instructional design models, the phases of the ID process, comparison of different models, and finally a new model that I made up for higher education instruction. So first, what is the definition of and purpose of a model? Instructional systems design models are simple, conceptualized representations of the more complex workings of the design process. They are organizational in nature as they provide a general guide to the analysis, production, and revision of the environment in which learning occurs. They also have two roles. One is conceptual. They provide context by using visual constructs of the process. The other is operational. It provides step-by-step direction of implementing the process of design. The core phases of the design process and what should be in any model are analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. You might note that these spell out ADDIE. ADDIE will be treated as a set of phases on which any ISD models can be built instead of a model itself. I have chosen to look at several models. Some of these fall in line with ADDIE, while others use different foundations. And all of these models are in use today in designing instruction for higher education or business. The first one is PI. PI stands for Plan, Implement, and Evaluate. The plan phase combines the first three phases of ADDIE, analyze, design, and develop, into an ongoing non-directional process. After the plan phase, implementation and evaluation occur in that order. Next is Assure. The Assure model is based on Gagne's 9-step model, which, and in contrast to the models that adhere to ADDIE, the Assure model has a distinct order and just directly incorporates the use of technology and other media into the design process. So you're analyzing, you're stating your standards and objectives, you're doing the design process that you're developing and utilizing the media as a U, and then R, you're requiring learner participation, and finally E is evaluate and revise. The 5 P's for the U are previewing technology and materials, preparing technology and materials, preview of environment, prepare learners, and then prepare learning experience. Next is Merrill's Pebble in the Pond process model. So this model is designed as an alternative to ADDIE, and the framework for it is based on the first principles of instruction, which is also by Merrill. The instruction needs to be problem-centered. Students need to be actively involved in learning. Demonstrating of information needs to be done, and students need to be able to apply their information, and they also need to integrate it into real-world situations. So Merrill's model was primarily designed for online learning, and as you can see by the diagram, it begins with a grand task or overarching problem and works backwards to determine the instructional needs rather than working towards smaller goals first. Although not listed in this graphic, summative and formative evaluations would occur in this process. And last, we have Dick and Carey. It's the most widely used in instructional design classes. And the needs assessment are conducted before the design phase, which allows for a better fit of assessments with objectives. Objectives and goals can then be changed to fit with the assessment better. There we go. Formative evaluation has a higher importance in this model, providing a continuous process that removes the chance of having to revise entire design after the implementation. Finally, here is my new model. I call it the lily pads model. First, you're defining a main gap. Or any main gaps. You prioritize the gaps. Then you analyze cognitive contributions using environmental assessment and learner assessment. After that, you create performance goals, and after that, you determine technology available. So that's a big part of this, because in smaller colleges and other small businesses, they have a hard time sometimes with budget and technology that's available for instruction. After that, you're going to simultaneously develop assessments that measure whether or not the goal is being met, and also develop instruction at the same time so they can work together. And finally, they all meet to develop the materials of both at the same time. Developing instruction, let me go back a minute, is where that's where you're going to be using the first principles and also Gagné steps. And then when you develop the materials, you're going to be using the 5 Ps for the technology and other materials. Then you're going to go into implementation, and finally you're going to go to summative evaluation, and you're going to have learner input into the summative evaluation. Also, it should be noted that at the same time as well, all of these stages are happening, you can have formative evaluation anytime. So that's my model, and I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough with of the ID process and the models. And here are my references. Thank you.